He wasn't supposed to be the headline. But by February, he was the man calling every shot on the biggest stage in football. And here's why this matters to you in the first few seconds. The New England Patriots didn't just hire a defensive coordinator. They just locked in the identity that carried them to a Super Bowl, and whether you love them or hate them, this move could reshape the AFC next season. The Patriots are promoting inside linebackers coach Zak Kuhr to full-time defensive coordinator. On the surface, it feels expected. But when you dig deeper, this is one of those quiet power moves that championship organizations make before the rest of the league realizes what just happened. Let's rewind for a second. Last season, the Patriots' defense wasn't just good. It evolved. Early on, there were questions. New system, new voices, adjustments happening in real time. Terrell Williams opened the year as defensive coordinator. But after week 1, everything changed. Williams, who was battling prostate cancer, had to step away from full duties. First of all, respect to him. Bigger than football. Always. But here's the twist most casual fans didn't fully process. From week 2 through the team's Super Bowl 60 loss to the Seattle Seahawks, it was Zak Kuhr calling the defense. Not unofficially. Not partially. He was the guy. And the results? They speak loudly. By the end of the regular season, New England finished 4th in points allowed. 8th in total yards. That's not surviving. That's dominating in a league built to favor offense. In the playoffs, they turned it up another level, allowing just 8.6 points per game in 3 AFC wins. That's absurd in today's NFL. Even in the 29-13 Super Bowl loss to Seattle, the defense allowed only 335 yards and just 1 offensive touchdown. 1. The offense didn't hold up its end. The defense did enough to win. So when NFL insiders reported that Kuhr was a very strong candidate for the job, this wasn't some surprise shakeup. It was confirmation. But here's where it gets interesting. Zak Kuhr is only 37 years old. In coaching years, that's young. Almost dangerously young for the responsibility of running a championship-caliber defense in New England, one of the most scrutinized markets in football. And yet, if you trace his career path, it makes perfect sense. His NFL journey has mostly been under the Mike Vrabel umbrella. He started as a quality control coach with the Tennessee Titans in 2020. Then inside linebackers assistant. Then grew in responsibility over 3 seasons. That's not glamorous work. That's grinding in film rooms at midnight. That's learning how to break down protections and disguise pressure packages. He spent 2024 with the New York Giants as a defensive assistant before rejoining Vrabel in New England this past season. That continuity matters more than people realize. Systems aren't just playbooks. They're language, their culture, their expectations. And here's my opinion as someone who obsesses over this league like it's pro wrestling storylines. Continuity after heartbreak is dangerous. When a team loses a Super Bowl and panics, that's when windows close. When a team loses and doubles down on what worked, that's when revenge tours begin. This move tells me the Patriots believe the defense was never the problem. Now let's address the elephant in the room. Was this just about keeping things stable? Or is Kuhr actually a rising defensive mind? Because there's a difference between maintaining and innovating. When you look at how New England adjusted week to week, especially in the playoffs, you see creativity. Simulated pressures. Disguised coverages that rotated post-snap. Linebackers mugging the A-gap and bailing at the last second. That's modern defensive chess. And remember, Kuhr's background is linebackers. That position group is the brain of the defense. They set fronts. They communicate checks. They adjust to motion. If your linebackers are disciplined, your entire structure stays intact. Under Kuhr's influence, that second level played fast and decisive. Gaps were filled. Contain responsibilities were respected. Explosive plays were limited. That's not accidental. Now here's the part that should excite Patriots fans even more. The roster continuity. The defense that reached the AFC Championship and then the Super Bowl is largely intact. The most notable pending free agents are safety Jaylinn Hawkins and edge presence Chaisson. Important pieces, yes, but not a full teardown scenario. That means Kuhr isn't walking into a rebuild. He's stepping into a machine that already proved it can go toe-to-toe with anyone in the AFC. But here's the curiosity gap I can't ignore. What happens when he has a full offseason as the official guy? Last year, he stepped in midstream. This time, he gets to design camp installs. He gets to shape situational packages from scratch. He gets to own the identity completely. And identity is everything in the NFL. Think about it. The Patriots of old were known for adaptability. The Titans under Vrabel were known for physicality. This hybrid New England defense feels like both. Flexible but mean. Strategic but aggressive. If Kuhr leans into that, we could see a defense that doesn't just rank top 5. We could see one that defines the AFC next year. Now I want to be clear about rumors versus facts. Fact: Kuhr called the defense after Week 1 through the Super Bowl. Fact: the Patriots ranked 4th in points allowed. Fact: they allowed just 8.6 points per game in their 3 AFC playoff wins. Fact: he is now the full-time defensive coordinator. Rumor territory? Some around the league quietly believe this promotion was always the long-term plan, regardless of circumstances. I can't confirm that, but when insiders emphasize someone as a very, very, very strong candidate, that tells you the building already knew. And here's my hot take. This is a culture move as much as it is a football move. By promoting from within, New England sends a message to assistants grinding in that building. If you produce, you rise. Loyalty matters. Results matter more. In a league where coordinators jump ship every offseason for lateral moves, stability is underrated. But let's not pretend there's no pressure. Super Bowl runners-up don't get patience. They get expectations. Anything short of another deep playoff run will feel like regression. The AFC isn't slowing down. Elite quarterbacks everywhere. Offensive coordinators cooking up new wrinkles every week. Kuhr now has a target on his back. Teams will study his tendencies. They'll test his adjustments. This is where we find out if he's just steady or special. Because good coordinators maintain. Great ones evolve. What impressed me most about last season wasn't just the rankings. It was situational defense. Third downs. Red zone. 2-minute drills. That's where championships are decided. New England thrived in those moments through most of the playoffs. Discipline, communication, controlled aggression. If Kuhr builds on that foundation and adds even more disguise elements, the ceiling rises. And here's another layer: leadership. At 37, he's not that far removed from players' age brackets compared to some veteran coordinators. That can create connection. But it can also challenge authority if not handled correctly. From everything reported and observed, players responded. They didn't look confused. They looked confident. That matters more than any statistic. Now let's zoom out to the bigger picture. The Patriots just proved they can return to championship relevance. Not as a nostalgia act. Not as a lucky wild card. As a legitimate contender. Defense travels. Defense holds up in January. Defense gives you a chance even when your offense sputters, which we saw in that Super Bowl loss. So the real question isn't whether Zak Kuhr deserved the promotion. The real question is this: can he turn heartbreak into dominance? Because that's what this hire is about. It's about looking at a 29-13 loss and saying, we were closer than the score suggests. It's about trusting the process that held opponents under 9 points per game in the AFC playoffs. And as someone who watches this league like it's a year-long wrestling storyline, I love this chapter. The young coordinator, the resilient roster, the revenge arc waiting to be written. But I want to hear from you. Was promoting Zak Kuhr the right move for a team that just lost on the biggest stage? Or should New England have chased a splash hire to shake things up? Drop your take in the comments, because this decision will age loudly one way or the other. This is NFLXposed, where we don't just report the league, we dissect it. Stay sharp, stay loud, and I'll see you in the next breakdown.